floor when you work. Massage Envy has a corporate policy that you have to keep 1 foot on the floor.
What?
When you work. You're on a table, you have to keep 1 foot on the floor.
I think it's both feet now.
Both feet. This, you got fired right now for doing this.
Because my client doesn't know.
See, so this is what I'm saying. I'm fighting a sort of a cultural war because there's confusion about what's going on, right? A company like Massage Envy is trying to avoid liability. Right. Table could break. Is the therapist being untoward? Are they getting on the table with the clients? Does that make sense?
Because this right here.
I just want you to be aware of what the rules are at the facility you work at. I don't want to introduce any fear at all. I just want you to understand that.
Are you familiar with Fanny Fatigue Fighters?
No.
It's a company out of New York that's based that you do nothing but celebrities and entertainers. Mm-hmm. So my company, we've done Beyonce and her all-girl band twice. We've done the WWE wrestlers when they come into town.
Nice.
It's pretty cool.
I haven't worked with a lot of famous people, I guess. So yeah, make sure you work both sides, and then when you're ready to switch partners, just trade out. Just switch. How we doing?
Or switch sheets?
No, you don't have to. I mean, it doesn't matter to me, in other words. If you were particular. Yeah.
I'm already.
Scoot your hips in a little bit. You're like leaning over. There you go. Because I don't want you to lean over as far. No, that's fine. I just want you to feel like your spine is mostly at neutral. You're going to feel better, more energized this way than like leaning over the whole time. So, the problem that I had when I started, and I felt like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day, was they came in and said, "Oh, my upper back and my neck. Oh, my upper back and my neck. Oh, my upper back and my neck." It repeated. And I was like, there's something wrong with what I was taught in school. That was the first time I really got to a point where I questioned what I was taught in school. And the thing is, I was like, they're having pain. They're having pain back here. They're having pain back here. And then I would go in and apply pressure where they had pain. The muscles in the back here, are the muscles in the posterior. The posterior neck, the rhomboids, the traps, the levator scapula. Are these what are these muscles causing pain?
Are they causing pain?
What's causing the pain?
Right there.
Same thing if you're doing from...
Show them. What's causing the pain? Now, I'm 25 years old. I'm a guy. I'm single. I'm working at a spa in Baton Rouge. Now I have to work on her pecs. How do I feel?
Nervous. Deer in headlights.
80% of my client base needs pec work. I'm a guy. Now what? I was not taught in school to think about this. These muscles, are these muscles tight?
Yes.
Or are they weak and long?
They're long and stretched.
They're stretched. The muscles in the posterior are elongated. The muscles in the front are shortened. So what I did was doing this is I'm pulling the tight muscles open. I'm pulling the shortened muscles open and trying to put the shoulder blades back more in what I consider a neutral position.
So, with us in particular, and what we do,
as massage therapists,
yes,
which is what? Which is creating the posture that all of our clients come in for.
But at the same time, for us in particular, we're fighting that. We're holding ourselves up too.
Yeah.
So I feel like we do have, there is some tension there, even
Sure.
though they are lengthened and weak. They still deserve some of the physical manipulation,
Sure.
but not to the extent to correct that structural.
Now, client comes in with upper back and neck pain. You come in and immediately do pec work. How do they feel?
Better. Confused because they didn't
confused.
No, like,
Confused and irritated.
Yep.
Oh, hello, young lady. You have upper back and neck pain? Listen, we're going to come in and do some pec work. How do you feel? Exactly. Exactly. No. It's exactly. And the thing is, it's not that that's incorrect. It's that culturally I have to figure out how to manage this. This is a good gender neutral way of accessing that and pulling it open. How do people feel about me lengthening? I don't have to say it, but I'm doing it because they don't think about their chest at all. They don't think about their pecs at all when I do this. When you lean and pull her open, what do they feel? What do you feel?
open, stretching.
What do you feel? No, those are all correct. I'm just in your physical body. Where do you feel it?
Chest, releasing.
How does your back feel?
My back, it feels better.
How does your upper back and neck feel? How much do we press on your neck? How much time did we spend pressing on the back?
You didn't, because you're stretching the pecs.
But it addresses their problem. We touched it just so they went, oh, okay, yeah, he actually listened to me. And then I began that process. I'm also not saying that we only work the pecs. You're still going to work the posterior muscles as well. Yeah. And I'm also having debate with people because it gets to this point where you're trying to find out what the science says to figure out what's the best treatment protocol for any given situation. 9 times out of 10, the best treatment protocol is when I connect with her and find out where she's tight and try to help her with it. Part of the biggest thing is touch and connection. I just put my hand on her leg.
Yeah, and it feels warm and nice. You can go.
It feels warm and nice. We all respond to that innately. Yeah, we all respond to that innately. Hey, where are you having a problem? Or whatever. Yeah, my shoulder. And then you go in and address it. What I am saying is the sequence I was taught in school that was like Swedish and then deep tissue, I spent all my time pressing in the posterior. I didn't work the pecs. Okay. I was afraid to work pecs. It was like pecs was,
Yep. It's kind of like
but they don't what?
their glutes.
Their glutes. How many of you have clients that don't like their glutes being worked on?
And I still do it, and I still.
They don't have a choice. You don't give them a choice.
Everybody goes left, I go right.
I still.
So instead of this underarm, I want you to try it there. And you could use either arm, by the way.
Okay.
So you're facing the opposite direction. It's not wrong. I want you to face that way.
Face that way? Okay.
Yep. Because when you pull her, I want you to be able to pull her down
Okay.
in a way to lift her neck. So less arms. So lengthen your arms and lean back. Lean your head back. Traction to mill broken wrists. We're going to have to work on that when we get to the hands and arms, by the way. I'd like to check that out and see how this is doing. So when you had breaks, the fractures or you're full on?
The first time I broke it, I slid in the base
Yeah.
and broke it. And my grandmother passed away at 99, but she didn't believe in doctors. So they back then.
99.
Yeah.
Didn't believe in doctors.
No, I didn't believe in doctors back then.
Yeah.
Well, you got to understand, she was 99 years old
Yeah.
in Arkansas,
Yeah.
black woman,
Where in Arkansas?
place called Pine Bluff.
Pine Bluff? I don't know where it's at exactly, but
Yeah,
yeah.
just 45 minutes south of Little Rock.
Okay.
They didn't get good doctors.
Yeah.
Where are you?
How we doing?
You from out of South?
So the stand? No. So here, the standing version is going to be more strain on your back. Can you sit for me? Now, instead of having your knee like this, can you extend your leg out?
Little Rock Central.
There you go.
Yeah, my 10th grade.
The angle is also different, but you see how you get to use your body weight? It's not wrong the other way. I just think that this is less strain for you. Does it feel different to you? How does it feel different?
Marine Corps.
Because she's it's balanced, it's even.
Yeah.
She's not working so much.
You go from Southern California, Japan to Little Rock, Arkansas in 1973. Culture shock.
You want to try one?
I felt like Back to the future. I couldn't believe how that was a big change. Yeah, my father left after he graduated. He graduated from UAPB, and
Do you have to worry about if anybody has dislocated their arms in the past with this? No?
So we had a question about like shoulder dislocations. If somebody had a dislocated shoulder, can we still do this?
yeah.
Someone had dislocated shoulder.
Well, if it was dislocated, if the shoulder's back in place, I mean, if they did it yesterday, maybe not. But why would they be in for a massage if they just did that? If they have a problem with the ligaments in their shoulder and they're prone to dislocations, can we still do this? How much are we pulling on the shoulder joint? None. How much are we pulling on the shoulder joint?
Here,
Yeah.
I was pulling a good amount. Less.
We're pulling on the shoulder blade. If I grabbed her arm and did this, this pulls on the shoulder joint. When I grab around, I'm mobilizing the shoulder blade.
Like if we had our arm out, we would be pulling it out of the side.
I'm pulling on the shoulder blade. Does it make sense?
Yes.
And then you're going to grab in pecs. And you could do this, but it's more work. And it's more hand work.
For pecs?
Yeah. Why do you want to use your hands?
Yeah, just maybe pull back.
What am I doing? This?
Yeah. And then which angle does she want? Up? Like, in other words, like down towards the hips or like backing away?
This one?
And sometimes they'll have a preference for one or the other.
I just hold? I do hold them for longer?
Depends on how they feel. Usually I'll start with mobilization and it'll kind of build to more holding. So here's the thing. She was reaching with her hands into pec. How long are your hands going to last? Increasingly, I'm going to drop your center of gravity and you're going to kick your client. How much do you use your legs and feet in practice? Well, it starts today. These are great tools. How many of you have problems with your hands and wrists?
Absolutely.
Raise your hand. Hands and wrists. Now, how do I feel as a massage educator knowing that a third of the class has problems with their hands and wrists? You're in a job where you're going to help people with their bodies and you're hurting your bodies. How do I feel about that? I piss off most of the massage industry, and that will continue. It'll ramp up. And we'll decide at some point whether they still want to accept me as part of the massage industry or not. And we'll go call it Rossiter. Yeah. And I'm teasing Rossiter, by the way. Rossiter, please do not contact me and sue me. Hands are great. I don't want you to overwork your hands. If she's going to do pec work, I'm going to show her another tool. How do you feel about using forearm and elbow in pecs? How do you feel about using your knee in pecs?
I want to learn how to use knee and those hamstrings.
You'll see. I do not have a table in my studio.
Much better.
If people come into my studio and they say, I want table work, what do I say? Go to someone else. I want a massage. What are you looking for? What are you having problems with? They're like, well, I just want to get a good massage. I'm like, go to somebody else. I have a slightly different business. It doesn't mean you can't work on a table. It doesn't mean you can't call it massage. It doesn't mean you can't use your hands. I just want to give you a broader range of tools to use.
When somebody does come to you and they're not expecting this, what do you call it?
Reboot.
Reboot.
So here's the thing. How many people come to me because they're looking for massage? How often does my website show up because you're looking for massage?
Yeah, I know it doesn't, but what if they do? What if, I mean, in the beginning, let's say at the beginning.
Well, you ask your questions before you get started, so there you go.
Yeah.
I can use my leg.
You narrow it down.
On my website, how many photos are there of tables, cream, flowers, nudity? Exactly. All the photos and the videos on my website, what are they of? mat work, standing on people, knees on people, deep compressions, mobilizations, lengthening, stretching. Is the person naked?
No.
Okay. Now, from that standpoint, let's say they don't know what Thai massage is. They've hit my website. I don't know how they found it. When they look at what I'm doing visually, what do they think it is? Stretching. Yoga. So when you go see a chiropractor, they get you naked? No. When you go see a physical therapist, do they get you naked? No. Well, don't they do physical work? Do physical therapists do tissue work?
Stretching you.
I'm just trying to get you to look at more of the consumer standpoint. What are people looking for? What?
You want convenience. I'll show her what I did.
Contraindications?
Are there any contraindications for any of this, any of the work, like pressure, too much pressure, cholesterol problems or anything like that?
I don't think so. So for what we've shown so far, what are the contraindications for what we've shown so far? We talked about shoulders, right? Rotator cuff crosses the shoulder joint. How much were we pulling on the shoulder joint? And that's because I think we're moving the shoulder blade more. If somebody's uncomfortable, what do I do? And I ask, like, hey, what's uncomfortable? And they're like, oh, my arm feels okay when it's by my side, but I don't like having my arm out or whatever. And then I have to think anatomically and go, okay, what are they having problems with, and how do I modify to make that fit? Most people, I can't think of a reason you wouldn't do this. Somebody just had a cervical fusion 2 weeks ago.
I would not, probably.
There's a difference between deep compression and just gentle mobilization. Gentle mobilization. Does that make sense?
So you're
Now-
saying with a fusion, you can do it.
Yeah, and if they had a cervical fusion 2 weeks ago, and I made it close just because we're like, okay, is the stuff healed? And you go, no, you know what, I think you probably need to let that heal a bit more. Now it's been 6 months. They feel fine. They had a cervical fusion. Can you do this?
How about a mastectomy?
Yes, absolutely. But how fresh is it?
Yeah.
Exactly. The thing is, I think that it's very gentle. When you work on someone, when do you use Swedish and when do you use deep tissue? Because most people, if they're having a contraindication, they might be able to take Swedish, but you might leave out deep tissue portions, right? It's the same sort of thing with this. It depends on the amount of pressure you're delivering, and then half the time it's just common sense. I think that a lot of what we're told are contraindications or school are cautions. Do you guys ever go into the armpit? Yes. You ever go into the groin? No. Deep adductors? Pubic bone? Ischial tuberosities? Yeah, all of that. All of that. All of that. But it's a caution, and you have to understand. Occasionally people come in with something, and I go, you have what? Because they use a name that I do not. They're like, I have Guillain-Barré syndrome. And I have to go, oh, what is that? Now, I didn't come in and address it like, I know. I said, what is that? I get information for them. I'm like, hey, let me go do some research on Google. And I'll go look up the issue, find out that Guillain-Barré, I think, is like an autoimmune disorder. It's probably closer to like fibromyalgia, something like that. So I'm going to proceed with caution when it comes to pressure. And just explain to them, listen, the autoimmune disorder, you're probably going to respond like some people do to pressure. You might like deep, you might not. Just let me know as we go.
Do you feel like
Just do research.
sore after Thai?
So somebody can feel sore because the compressions are really deep. But 9 times out of 10, what I get is people freak out because they can't believe how much pressure I can deliver and they don't feel sore. Now, the difference is I have a tendency to sink into one spot and hang out and compress. I don't sink into a spot and then grind back and forth. This, to me, is more like deep tissue. Do people get sore after deep tissue?
Yes.
Deep tissue typically seems to be deep pressure and then you're gliding along. How much gliding do I do? Very, very, very little. You're interacting with tissue in a slightly different way. If you use effleurage as the base for deep tissue, if you think of like techniques, right? My work has a tendency, instead of being like effleurage is how you warm up the tissue, it's mobilization and compression. Those are the two things that I use the most consistently. Mobilization and compression. Beyond that, it's some sort of pin and stretch. And we'll keep, as we keep working, you'll see from piece to piece to piece, kind of piece it together. I don't get stuck in modalities. I don't get stuck in techniques. I'm not teaching you modalities. I'm not teaching you techniques. I'm just giving you some stuff to play with to like build your practice on. Upper back and neck. How we doing? We finishing up? Yeah. Do we want more for like the upper back and neck? No.
Oh, yeah.
You want to be the demo?
Sure.
Yeah. Lay down on your side. Whichever one you want to give me.